There exists a trifecta of high-gain amplifiers, a holy trinity of heaviness accounting for the majority of all rock and metal guitar sounds ever recorded, in a pre-digital world at least. If I were to ask any guitarist to name an iconic, high-gain valve amplifier, I can almost guarantee they'd say one of these three.
JCM 800.
5150.
Rectifier. Dual rectifier, 2-channel, the old ones.
5150.
Mesa Boogie dual rectifier.
5150. JCM 800, and this is coming from a bass player.
What's a valve? I mean, the first thing I wanted to say was Marshall when you said Hi-Conic, but then you said Hi-Gain, JCM 2000. I can't grab his camera and turn it, but the disappointment on his face, it's palpable.
The PV 5150, Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, and Marshall JCM 800. Each crafting within the depths of their preamps a high-gain distortion sound which captured the sonic imagination of generations and multiple genres of metalheads. Tracing back the rock amplifier family tree, we can see how these three are related. It all starts off with the Fender Bassman, a defining amplifier that found its way into the hands of many aspiring techs who made their own copies and tweaks to the formula. As getting American gear imported to Britain was almost impossible at the time, Marshall copied the Bassman circuit diagram, adding their own changes and modifications depending on taste and part availability to create the Bluesbreaker in 1965. This evolved into the Plexi Superleads and was further updated into the JCM 800 in 1981. Across the ocean in San Francisco, Mesa Boogie were also messing around modifying Fender Bassmans, adding cascading preamp stages to create the first high-gain amplifiers, culminating in their 1978 Mark II. The Mesa Mark II and Fender Bassman clones like the Marshall Bluesbreaker were the inspiration for another California-based amp tinkerer, Mike Soldano, to create his own amplifier company in 1986, giving us the SLO 100. This was the amplifier that caught the eye of Eddie Van Halen, who used the SLO for a while before partnering with Peavey in 1991 to create his own version of it, the Peavey 5150. Later renamed the 6505 when Eddie left and took the original number with him. Interestingly, it was the massive popularity of the SLO 100 that convinced Mesa Boogie to create something like it, resulting in the dual rectifier of the early 90s, so named because it allowed users to choose between solid state and valve rectification. This somewhat incestuous genealogy results in three quite different high-gain sounds that still dominate heavy music to this day, with guitarists often mixing the sounds of these amplifiers on record to achieve maximum heaviness. Of course, collecting three large, expensive and loud amplifiers for those of us that don't have that kind of space, money or tolerant neighbours is problematic, but fortunately there are alternatives. Preamp pedals like TC Electronics' latest high-gain Ampworx pedals are becoming ever more popular amongst the space and budget conscious, as these provide the distortion characteristics of those big amplifiers without having all the expensive and heavy parts of the amp, allowing us the ability to run the preamp either through an existing power amp for use with a conventional guitar speaker cabinet or in conjunction with an impulse response loader for direct out floorboard use. I got my first look at these a whole year ago at 42 Gear Street in Germany. That's how long it takes some of these products to come out. In these clips, we're using a dedicated external IR loader to ensure that the cabinet simulations are consistent between all three preamps. That goes right into that ballpark, that AC/DC style rock ballpark, where it's bitey but not too overdriven just yet. It's got a lot of clarity, a lot of jangle still in there. It's sounding very Marshall-esque to me.
Yeah.
But what happens if we pump that gain slightly? What if we want to get more?
Try that. We can actually go even further because this is channel
more.
1. Yeah.
There's more on top of this.
Good. Actually,
One more.
with the boost.
I love a boost in front of a Marshall style amp.
Actually, the boost, it's possible to put it after the gain for a lift, in like a level lift. But here we have it before, so you can get more of the preamp.
More out of the drive from the preamp, exactly. We've cranked the gain up to the point where I think we can do a little bit of lead, slap a delay on it, see what happens. I think that's sounding pretty good to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's got the vibe that I'm looking for from a Marshall, and in a package that's a lot smaller than a Marshall.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and our ears don't bleed.
Yeah.
That's also a nice bonus, yeah. In terms of using something like this regularly, would you need some more time dabbling with it, or how do you feel at this point in time?
At this stage, I'm feeling that there's a lot of potential here that I would like to delve into further.
All right.
I think with the right amount of tweaking, with the right IRs, and perhaps with pedals out front and in the back, build a chain around about it.
Yeah.
I think I could certainly see myself using this in a live situation where you want to go direct in.
Yeah.
But it also would be, I think, a good alternative to using pure plugins in a recording situation. Home studio, and you want something physically there on the desk to tweak and mess around with. Because a lot of people, like myself, prefer to have something physical to work with, a physical interface to work with.
Yeah.
And I think that's a compact enough solution that it can sit on the desk and get you the Marshall style tone.
Yeah.
Without the complexity of a real valve amp and all this and that.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's sort of like taking some of the more advanced modular solutions, which is basically a multi-effect unit nowadays. I've been playing a lot with those things too, but I also see this as a way of putting it down in a simple pedal board, using the pedals you like, not being stuck to one brand, but mixing and matching. I think that's what it's all about with these kind of preamp pedals.
Yeah, you want to be able to use them the same way as you would use a real amplifier, and be able to, as you say, different brands of pedals, your favorite overdrive in there, your delay, whatever it happens to be, and build your chain around it as if it were the amp.
Exactly, and that's actually also why we are running it like this with the impulse, because then we have the effect loop like that, like you would have on a...
The delay comes before the speaker cabinet.
Exactly, but after the drive stage. Yeah.
Whereas if you were to use the internal IR
Yeah.
on the thing, which is great for convenience, but if you want to put the delays and your modulations after the drive, you want the IR further down the chain.
A lot of people would definitely, yeah.
I think we should move on to that 5150.
The 5150.
Because it's possibly the most iconic Hi-Gain amplifier. It's got a big name behind it. A lot of people in the metal scene still use it and claim it's the part of their sound that matters the most. So I want to see what you've done with that. I don't think I'm in tune, but that is sounding great.
Yeah, it is. I'm kind of historyless with these kind of amps, but I can tell that they are. It's almost like a bit more hi-fi-ish. It's more clean in a dirty way.
Yes.
So it's more like a focused beam of drive that I get.
A focused beam of drive. That's a fantastic term that you've just coined there.
Especially with this amp, it's like really...
You really want to focus it down. And I think that's what the 5150 does so well and makes it work so well, is that it can just focus. It focuses in the sound and gets, all the parts that matter are there, and all the flub that's around about it goes away. And that's the one thing about high-gain amplifiers through the design over the years, is that the very first ones, if you just, early amplifiers, if you just drove them up, put all the gain up, they got woollier and muddier and bassier the more gain they had. And then as, wanted more and more distortion, amp manufacturers had to really start to tailor, get rid of all that flub and all that bass and just make the gain focused in that precision. And that's exactly what we're hearing here.
We heard the 800 before, it's kind of that same kind of family, a bit more modern. But now with these modern amplifier, they honed it in even more. But with these kinds of pedals, it's about the drive, right?
It's about the gain structure. Your EQs you need some EQ to tweak it out for different guitars, for different cabinets,
Yeah.
and the different situations you're in. But the amp's doing the heavy lifting. You shouldn't really need a ton of controls to get a good sound out of any of these amp models that you've based the preamps off of here.
No.
It should just be plug it in, get the sound, because that's how most of those rock and metal guys got their tone. They plugged it in, they turned it up loud, and they got their sound.
Exactly. They don't know where the knobs are.
You don't need to know where the knobs are, exactly. Foolproof. That's a lot of gain you've got on there. That probably needs a noise gate as well.
That was heavy. Yeah.
That is crazy. It's so tight, it's so precise, and that kind of thrashy metal sound, wonderful from that. The next model, which I believe is based off of the dual rectifier.
Yeah.
And another absolutely iconic amp that I think is everybody's favourite.
The controls are a little bit different. Here we have so we still have the channel, and we have we have a high and a low gain, and then we also have the boost, again, pre or post. So three layers of gain. But we also have the tight knob on this one.
Oh, I do like a tight knob.
Yeah, I saw like with the genty stuff over
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
So
you need that for the precision on the low frequency, especially if you're down tuning.
yeah. So we're on the first channel, and I can't believe it because how do you play clean?
No clean here at all. This is as clean as it goes. It's got a lot of low-end thud there that the 5151 didn't have.
Yeah.
There's more low-end even at this stage.
Yeah. Maybe that's why the tight knob might be useful, because it actually removes some of the bass running into the drive section.
That's us both got demonetized, but that's exactly the sound you want from that, I think.
That is. I mean, come on. I might have to dabble a bit more with Hi-Gain.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
Hi-Gain's just a lot of fun. It might not be the
Yeah.
classiest thing in the world. If you can get a real sweet, compressed, clean sound, of reverb, and ambient, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. But I personally don't think that's anywhere near as fun as getting a filthy gain amp like that.
I see it.
Yeah.
Kick in some delay, maybe go for some leads.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
The low end really works with that. I think when this guitar's now in drop D, I think a guitar that's heavier strings, lower tunings is going to work super, super well with that.
We've been running with the same 4x12 Celestion impulse response.
I mean, 4x12 Celestion, that's what most people are going to play through if they're playing heavy sounds. That's any cab's going to have that. But yeah, I think we should take a look at what impulse responses are built into the pedal and see how it's tailored. Because you'll have these tailored to the specific amp
We will,
models.
yeah. So definitely in the same ballpark.
Yes, but I think that IR we've got in there and inside the pedal suits the sound better than what we had on the external. External, and that's as you'd expect since you've tailored it out to sound good with that sound. Yeah. Of the three, the dual rec interests me the most, purely because I don't have a Mesa Boogie or dual rectifier style amplifier in my collection. I already have 800 and 5150 sounds via the 2 gain channels on my Victory Kraken, so it's really nice that I can run this dual rec into the effects return of the Victory and get those Mesa sounds without having to buy yet another heavy, expensive valve amplifier. If you want to add these 3 iconic high-gain preamp sounds to your pedal board, then TC Electronic have authorised me to run a bit of a giveaway. The winner will receive all 3 high-gain Ampworx pedals featured in this video, and to get those 3 pedals, you just need to follow 3 simple instructions. Number 1, make sure you are subscribed to CSGuitars here on YouTube because I need to benefit from this interaction. Number 2, make sure you are also subscribed to TC Electronic's YouTube channel. They are the ones supplying the pedals for this competition, so it's the least you could do. And number 3, since YouTube is horribly inefficient for keeping track of people and contacting the winners of this competition, what I need you to do is follow the link in the description to the CSGuitars Discord. Once there, you will find a thread labelled competitions. Inside the competition thread, you will find pinned instructions on what else you need to do as well as the competition deadline. I've run my last few giveaways using Discord and it's super easy to keep track of people and contact the winners securely, so that's why we're doing it this way. Absolutely nothing about this giveaway will be happening in the comments section of this video or any other video on YouTube. I will not be responding to you about the competition in the comments. I bring this up because no doubt as soon as the scam bots get whiff of the mention of the word competition, they'll be inundating every single one of you with lies and deceit. Don't fall for that bullshit. This is another reason why it's safer and easier to run my competitions in Discord, where I have the power to prevent scam artists from gulling you. Don't forget to click all the buttons you're supposed to make this video viable to the ever-changing whims of the YouTube algorithm. That's all for now, keep it loud. And stay safe.